Greetings, Patrick here. Welcome to Eight Questions with. I'm your host. Welcome to another fun-filled week of shows. Yeah, we are. that's that's me putting in the charger. Welcome to another week of Eight Questions with. We have a very busy week with us today. This week we have four shows. We have four shows starting with tonight. We'll be meeting and talking with the artist Meredith The Great in about 15 minutes or so. Tomorrow night, we'll see Ron Bonk, who owns and operates SR Cinema. He'll be here tomorrow night, and we will be talking to him about, I don't know, to me anyway, it could be SRS's largest release in their history, at least since I've been following them. They're getting to release a film called Hoshi 35, and we'll talk about that a little bit later on tomorrow. I want to say that for tomorrow, but it's amazing. It's amazing. It's an amazing movie, and the guest stars in the film are just off the planet. Super good. SRS was one of the cool things about SRS is that they are a company that not only does a lot of fun films. I mean, we know about all the fun films they do. Amityville Toilet, House Shark, but they also do one thing over here that never gets talked about. They actually release a lot of kaiju films. They do. They release a lot of kaiju films. They are, and I have a few of them myself, and they're not too bad. They're not too bad. I definitely would say that they're on the same level as some of the early 60 Godzillas. I mean, they're not the best of the best, but the monsters are good. They're on screen. They're on screen and they have good long fights. So, I'm down with it. So we're going to be talking with Ron about SRS, some of the fun films they do, um, tongue-in-cheek films, and how does he acquire such films and what goes into producing? Because he's also a producer. He's produced a lot of films for SRS besides just acquiring them. So we will talk to him and ask him, what does he look for in a film? I mean, if you're an independent filmmaker, I would think that you would want to really watch and listen to Ron tomorrow night as he explains what he and his company are looking for in today's market. So that'll be tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Then, of course, Thursday, we have the young actress Katrina Kuso will be here. She is everything. She is an actress. She is a beauty pageant winner. She is a college student, a very smart college student. She also is into paranormal. So there's a lot to be talking about with her for such a young actress. Only 20 years old. 20 years old, and so we'll be talking to her about her career and where it takes her, where she's going to drive it to. And then we take a day off Friday, and then Saturday, we got two shows Saturday. One we're hosting at 4 o'clock. Joe Cornett, we know Joe as a producer and a director and an actor. He has made many, many films, but this time we're meeting Joe Cornett, the writer. He is going to be talking about his new novel that's coming out, A Prayer for the Damned and Other Tales from the Old West. And he'll be here. We're going to talk all things writing. So I'm looking forward to that. And then I think it's going to be at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I will find that out. And then me and the Cheetah, we are packing our bags and heading out to, hey, Internet, it's Eric's here, as we will join him and Frenzy and our good friend and fellow ISC Midnighter. That's right. Even in retirement, you still remain a knight. That would be Mike, the American Werewolf. He will be joining us as well. And I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know what we're doing. So I just totally leave it up to Eric and Frenzy. I'm sure they know what they're doing. And yeah, so we have a very busy week here. All right. Wow. Lot to talk about. Lot to talk about. Um, this TV season has kicked off. I've watched a couple of TV shows. The new ones I watched. CBS has actually put out a couple of movies, a couple of TV series episodes that I watched. I watched the first season of the new version of Matlock, and I gotta say, I liked it. I liked it a lot, actually. Just when you like, just when when you heard that they were going to reboot the series, part of you just, if you're older anyway, part of you just rolled over in the grave because we're going like, man, we're always complaining that you don't get anything new from Hollywood. Well, I got to tell you, I can't say that about that. Um, Kathy Bates plays Maddie Matlock, a lawyer has been out of practice for 20 years, and she's probably in her early 70s, but she's still got a razor sharp legal mind. But then we find out that, and while she appears very homesy and folksy and grandma like, just like the original Matlock did, her mind is just as sharp, and it's a hell of a twist at the end of the end of the first episode. And then I watched. Hey, Anthony, how are you? See, Anthony says he's now up to 2005. Now he's taking a break from Instagram. Okay, that's a good thing. Let's see. Yep, I see that. You're up to 2005. That's a good place to be. Hey, Mika and Kira, how are you? How are you? We're going to be talking to an artist from Texas today. Her name is Meredith the Great. And one real quick, I will mention before I tell you guys about her. I was mentioning how I was watching a couple of TV shows this week. So I saw the first episode of Matlock. I got to give it a thumbs up. That was a really really good twist on the show. Didn't see it coming. Now, now I know I won't be able to see the whole series because it's streaming. Um, but at least I saw the first episode and I liked what I saw. And the second show I saw also was from CBS, and that was the second episode of NCIS Origins. I have mixed emotions about that. I mean, I'm like, okay, because I mean, we met Jethro Lee, Gibbs. Um, we met him on Team Yankee episode 1 of NCIS. Actually, we met him even before that, when he was on the show Jag. And that's when he was investigating the murder of Harm, who was the star of the show Jag. He was accused of murder, and Mark Harmon and his team had to figure out if he was guilty or not. Uh, oh gosh, yes, I didn't see that coming. I I really didn't see that coming. Man, I tell you one thing though, I really want to go find out who her boss is. So holy man, it's been a long time. It's been a long time since I seen a woman that she's just drop dead gorgeous on a TV show. I think her name is Sky Marshall. The actress's name is Sky Marshall. Yeah, she's drop dead beautiful. Holy crow. Um, but I think it's gonna probably end up, well, I think I already it's who I it'll probably be who I think it is, that did that, who caused her to come out of retirement with her claws flashing. But as far as the NCIS show, I I don't know. I tell you what I did like. I gotta admit I like the cast a lot. The cast might do it for me. Um, they got some guy named Kyle Schmid who I never heard of, and he's playing Mike Franks. And so far, at least through episode 2, it seems to be the Mike Franks show. And I'm all right. I'm all right with that. Um, Many of you probably don't remember who Mike Franks was on the show, but if you're a horror fan, and when you watch NCIS, you recognize Mike Franks as being played by Muse Watson, who played the fisherman in I Know What You Did Last Summer. Um, and he plays the fisherman, and he also played in The Last Exorcist Part 2. So he has some horror credibility. more so with not so much as Exorcist Part Two. That was the last Exorcism Part Two. Uh, I know what you did last summer. He was definitely got his. We don't really talk about the fisherman too much, but he's a brilliant. He's a worthy adversary. And then of course, like I said, I don't the last exorcism, the last exorcism part two. Man, as good as the first one was, the second one was just as bad. Why? It reminded me of watching. It reminded me watching Silent Hill Part One and Two. Part One is a masterpiece. It's so good, and then Part Two, everything that went right in Part One, it went wrong in Part Two. Um, yeah. See, so yeah, Scott. Yeah, she is. Wow. She was smoking hot, smoking hot. And I was like, damn. I hope that's not the bad guy. I'm going. I hope that's not it. My money's gonna be on Bo Bridges. My That's my money. My money's gonna be on Bo Bridges. I think he's gonna end up being the dastardly one. Um. All right. So. Yeah. I was nice. It's pretty cool. CBS is actually doing that. They are airing some of the episodes uh, on YouTube. Um, I know that Chucky did it with like I think the first 3 or 4 episodes they aired on YouTube before it went 100% back to USA Sci-Fi. I don't know how many episodes that CBS will run out here on YouTube. Um, because you can't run out too many, especially not for free when people are paying money to see it on Paramount Plus. I don't think they'd be too happy knowing that what they're paying for is being shown for free on a platform. So don't know what's going to happen there, but all I know is I'm going to go see if they put episode 2 on after this after we do our interview, and yeah. All right. So we're back with art. Um, we're back with art. Glad about that. Super glad to be able to talk painting. And one of the cool things that Meredith did for us when we were talking before the show, she can draw just about anything. She can paint just about anything. So she asked me to up the doorbell has rang. So you guys will hear this story in a minute. Hopefully, I'm very interested in seeing if the picture got painted because I gave her a difficult one, and I'm sure she could do it. I just don't know if she had enough time to do it, as she is very, very busy. All right, so please put your hands together, share us out if you can, and help me welcome in Meredith the Great. Here we go. Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Okay. Oh, there you are. I want to make sure you're there, and you are. All right. Yeah, StreamYard is just going all funky on me. Uh, has been really good to us lately, but lately it's been sort of finicky. And but welcome to the show, Meredith. How are you?
Hi. I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. Uh, I was just talking to him about when you and I were talking behind us off camera, and you asked me to send you a picture of a comic book character, and so I said,
So I
okay,
I gotta admit, you kind of stumped me on this one.
big
I
deal.
didn't have enough time to do what I wanted to do, and instead of doing a bad job, I like doing research on whatever I'm painting, and that is a new character I'd never heard of, and I want to know more, and I want to make something really great for you. So I owe that to you. I'm gonna get you that. I just didn't have enough time, and thank you for
Uh,
understanding that.
oh yeah, but it's funny because a lot of people will sit there. You expect them when they talk about Marvel, you expect them to throw out Spider-Man and Iron Man and Captain America,
Right.
but I've always liked some of the what they call street heroes, and
Hmm.
some of my characters. Well, even though Jack of Hearts is not a street character, though he's actually what they call a cosmic character. But I love the character. I love the suit.
Hmm.
He's a
Yeah,
badass character.
and I also had some ideas because I recently bought these jumbo playing cards, and I thought that would be fun to make that the background and then paint him on top of that. But I didn't have enough time. But I definitely gave it a lot of thought. So
Oh no,
we'll see what I
I
create.
was
I'll have
just
to give you an update now.
I was just impressed that you tackled it. I really did. I thought, well, I'm going to send her Jack of Hearts, and I'll wait for her to sit there and go, "Who the hell's this?"
And I
then,
did that.
then
I
I would
did
say,
that.
well, he's been around since the '80s. He's been around for a while, but
Hmm.
they don't really use him that much.
Hmm.
My favorite Marvel character is a character called Stingray, and
I've never heard of that either.
yeah, yeah. Let's see. To the chat. We are talking about. Holy crow! Look who! Wow, Dell on movies is walking through the door. I have not seen Dell in forever and a day. I think the last I saw Dell, he was moving, settling in a new house. Awesome. Glad to see you, sir. And there's brother Max. Welcome on in. Share us out if you will, as we're just gonna get started with Meredith the Great. I love the name, by the way.
Well,
I love the
it
name.
was kind of a joke, and then I used to do comic book art, and I remember I just put on a mask one day, and I put on a cape, and I started doing like pop-up art shows at comic book bars in Houston. And after the glue ripped off my eyebrows a few times, I decided it was time to retire that. But then people knew me as that, and then I didn't want to change it and confuse anybody. But I definitely wanted to branch out outside of comic book stuff. Even though I love it, I want to see what I can do.
Oh, sure. I think comic book. I mean, God, this is probably blasphemy considering that I'm a fanboy and everything else. But I don't know. I sort of consider comic book writing. I sort of consider it like to serious artists. I sort of look at it as entry level.
Hmm. And that's what it was for me, and it was great because I mean, that is a whole group of people that love that, and I love how excited people get about it. And I like, when you go to these like comic cons and you see videos of that, they go that's art. They put a lot of art into their costumes, and sometimes they have to make
Oh,
their own
cosplay.
props.
Yes,
So
cosplay. Yes.
yeah,
I
so I have
I
a lot of respect for that. I like that kind of stuff too.
Thank you, brother Max, for sharing us out. Yeah, okay. Oh, thank God. From it there, I thought for sure I was going to lose. I was going to have my fanboy card maybe suspended by saying that comic book art is entry level. Because I didn't mean anything by that. Is like, as in,
No.
yeah, because I mean,
You know what's so great about comic book art? It teaches you proportion
mhm.
because you can see how they block out the arms to make it. I mean, it's very dramatic in comic book art, but you can see where, like joints are in the fingers, and you can learn anatomy pretty good from it. Especially
Oh,
cuz superheroes are always doing weird poses.
well, especially if you're a fan of George Perez.
Mhm.
I mean, if you want to learn about if you want to learn about the female anatomy in comic books, you definitely want to follow George Perez because he's probably not the best drawer or the inker I've seen. I would have to sit there and say John Byrne was my favorite, but
Mhm.
when it came down to drawing female superheroes and what George he had no peer.
Hmm.
George Burns had no peer. He was the best.
Yeah.
Uh, let's see. Oh, hello, Megados, the outsider artist. Greetings, greetings. Glad you're here. I love the name Megados. Meredith the Great and Mega. That sounds like a superhero group right there.
Yep.
Now, I guess obviously the first question I would ask is, um, since you love comic books, I'm taking that your love for art is more of a male story. More the more you hear from a male side than a female side is you grew up reading comics and drawing comics. Most
Hmm.
women, I've talked to, they draw and paint and paint structures, abstract. But I think I've only talked to one other female artist, Carissa Grant, um, that actually cut their teeth on comic books directly. So
Hmm.
my first question to you is: so what comic books did you read and collect and liked, and which one spurred you to become an artist to get into it?
Well, I would say that I liked watching the Batman series growing up. Like it was on right after Animaniacs, and that just it creeped me out, but I liked it. And I think, I grew up to also dive deeper in with Harley Quinn and all of that. But I I would say that I was very eclectic. I wouldn't say that I got like all my inspiration from comic books growing up. I mean, I grew up in Los Angeles, California, and I'm the baby of the family by 14 years. So all my siblings, my brother was 18 when I was born. So when we moved to California, everybody took me all sorts of places like Disneyland and horseback riding through the hills. So I mean, and because of the age gap, my parents now they're in their 80s, but they were in their 40s when they had me. And then we also lived with my grandma. So I had multi-generational influences at all times. And I got my inspiration from everywhere, but it was definitely exciting growing up in LA.
What
So
was what city in LA were you in? Los
I was
Angeles.
from Van Nuys. I'm from
Okay,
Van.
okay.
Yeah.
Uh, well, but did your brother have a book? Did he have collections of books that you
My
would?
brothers were super into Star Wars. So we
Okay.
had a lot of the Star Wars books and like DVD, not DVDs, VHSs. And we had all those posters. And I think my brother at one point had every one of the action figures. And I think I still have like a little Ewok that I keep.
Nice, nice. That's a really intricate place I mean, when you're starting to pick up a paintbrush or a pen,
Hmm.
um, I mean, that's not exactly easy to draw either. The
Mm-mm.
characters on Star Wars. So you got into figures real quick. I mean, you're not out
Mhm.
there doing landscape or still art. You're doing characters, so to speak. Like I said, I mean,
Yeah. I
yeah,
did.
that's
I got in trouble a lot in school because I was doing caricatures of my teacher, and they were in their underpants, and that got me in hot water because, like, we would pass them around to the other kids, and then one day the teacher said we're starting class, and one kid was laughing too hard, and so they took it up, and I got sent to the principal's office. And the next day when I went back to class, I said, "You can't censor me."
yeah. No, no, he should be encouraging you. I would sit there and say, look, I'm not going to discourage you.
Mm.
I'm I'm just going to ask that if you could just put us in pants. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
in fairness, the teachers I didn't like were wearing diapers.
Oh,
So,
did
yeah.
did the teacher that bust you, was he
Oh,
holy
he was
cow.
the star. So it was horrible.
I was gonna say I didn't know that Trump taught school because I know he's the only guy I know who wears diapers now. Um,
Mhm. Yeah, no, I got in trouble by the star of all of the pictures he took.
oh my,
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Uh,
I wasn't really a bad kid. That was like the worst thing I did. I never cheated or anything. I just got Fs. I was just like I didn't study. It's fair. But
uh,
I was bad about my caricatures. I still can be. I gave it up for Lent.
the drawing.
No, no, just making mean caricatures.
Oh, okay. Wow. Okay. Well, you think how cool that would be if you're sitting in your car and somebody cuts you off, and you, instead of beeping your horn and stuff, you just
Right.
sit there and draw them really fast, and then
Hmm.
when they park the car, you can put the picture down by on the windshield.
Right.
Uh,
And
uh,
right. Use your turn signal.
right. Oh, you wouldn't know if you wouldn't know to be whether be insulted or like, holy crap, this is actually like me. I can already tell you if he drew me and something like that, I would just laugh. I would think it would be hilarious. I think
It
it'd be
would definitely make an impact, I
yeah.
think.
I definitely would. It would just make me laugh if I saw that.
Mhm.
So how old were you when you do you remember the very first thing that you did draw? I'm sure it wasn't the teachers, was it?
No, I the first thing I ever drew was on my little it's not an etch and sketch, but it was that Magna Doodle, and I drew Madonna, and it was just a big circle with the like eyes with lashes, and then one of those beauty marks. And my dad thought it was so great that when he got it copied at Kinko's, and and I have it somewhere. I don't have it right now, but
Now your parents must have saw that. Were they really proud of you, other than the teachers and the
oh,
diapers? Were they? I'm sure they didn't. I'm sure they're
well,
right
my
why
dad
they
was
were.
okay. So my dad doesn't want to probably admit it, but he was proud of the likeness that I got. But and he was also like, you can't be censored. It's art.
Right,
And it technically wasn't dirty. It was more me calling them a crybaby than anything. Not
right,
so much there wasn't anything sexual involved in it. But I mean, he let me get in trouble at school, but I didn't get in trouble at home on that one.
right.
But yeah, my parents have always been super encouraging. They sent me to Saturday courses at Pasadena Art Center in California, and I was in like ninth or 10th grade, and I would have to go. And at first, when my mom signed me up, I was like, listen, I got school all week, and then Sunday school on Sunday, and now you've taken my one sleep-in day to go to more school. And so I was really frustrated with that until I got to my first class, and I loved it like instantly. It was just my mom knew what she was pushing me to do, like she saw something in me, and she said this is what she should be doing on Saturday instead of sleeping till noon and eating Lucky Charms.
Right, right.
Mhm.
Now your mom and dad, were they artists as well? Did they have any artistic ability?
Oh yeah. My mom paints a little bit. She doesn't think it's good, but I think it's phenomenal. I like that she's not quite right. You know what I mean? Like I tell her
Right,
to paint
right,
an animal, and it comes out from her memory. It's hilarious and cute, and I love it, and I want it up on my wall because it's interesting. And my dad paints. Yes, he's an artist, and but my mom also like she does like a lot of baking. So I consider that's art to me too.
sure. Yeah.
Presentation and everything like that.
I think anything that you do that's creative makes you an artist.
Yeah,
So,
agreed.
I mean, whatever you do, whether you're writing, acting, singing,
Mhm.
doing an interview show, you're an artist.
Yeah, it takes yeah, you gotta be a people person. That's art. That's art
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, for certain art, for sure. I'm actually thinking of it's like writers, writers and artists. They both, like especially with paint or sculpture or clay or what have you, whatever you use for your discipline. Most
Mhm.
of the time that when they go to work, like when you create, aren't you alone most of the like 95% of the time you're by yourself when you
Yeah.
create? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And same
I
thing with
mean
writers. Writers, yeah, I asked the writers, so what do you do? Where do you like to write? Do you like? So I've seen some writers that write like at a library or at a Barnes and Noble, but a lot
mhm.
of people just like to just write. Whew, I got my joke in before Jeff came in. Um, uh, hey Jeff, how are you, sir? Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yes, if you're creating art in whatever medium, you're an artist. I agree. Yeah, life can be art. Um, but I was gonna say, writers are the same thing. Like I ask them, I like, what do you like? Do you like writing with people around you? Because some people do.
Mhm.
Or do you like writing by yourself in a 4x4?
Mhm.
And then by yourself. But most of the time, part of that 90% of the time, they say they like being by themselves.
Yeah. because it's kind of like a therapy, you know, and also a decompression from the world, you know. Like I've always been a night owl, uh, before I ever got like really serious with art. But then when I started getting serious with art, some of my best work came about at 4 in the morning. And I
Yeah,
think, and I thought about that, and I was like, why is that? Why is that? And I was thinking it's because the world is mostly calm, and you can like there's less energy out there. I just shook the whole table. There's less energy out there, and you can kind of just like focus and just feel whatever you're feeling, and do whatever you need to do, and it's just less clouded, you know. You feel free.
right. Yeah, I even know a couple of artists that we've had on here, and sometimes they will go on their channels and they'll fire it up at 4 in the morning,
Hmm.
and they're saying, I'm painting, and I'm going like, it's 4 in the morning, and
Yeah.
he's Eastern time, like we are, and I'll go over there, and sure enough, there he is, he's painting
Ah,
at 4 in the morning. I'm like, where do you get the
absolutely.
energy? Where do you
I
get
think
the
4 in
energy
the
to do
morning
that?
is the magic hour. And I also think, you know, doing art late at night definitely keeps you out of trouble. I
Yeah,
haven't
yeah,
I haven't been in a
okay,
lot of trouble because I wanna be home painting.
okay. Uh, um, you were you're in school, and your mom and dad put you to art school. So
Mhm.
now you got this talent at your fingers. What did you do with it next after you got out of high school? What was your next step as far as developing it yourself as an artist?
Well, I think right around that time I started dabbling with the comic book and trying to sell commissions. And because people were like, "Oh, I really like that. Could you paint Spider-Man for me, or could you paint this, or my you know, my wife and I are having a baby. Could you do a robot painting or something like that?" So I started focusing on commissions, and then I did a lot of pop-ups, and you know, it just I I enjoyed what I did. It was a lot of fun, but you know, I didn't think, you know, it was going to really go anywhere. So I, you know, I got it. I work in the food industry still, and I like it because the hours are flexible. But recently, it's just had like a brand new surge, and I feel like it's also because I'm more inspired. Um, and like I feel more positive and hopeful. And also I've been like getting a lot better like feedback through Instagram, and that's been really exciting that people are enjoying what I'm putting my heart and soul into. And I really do, man. Like some of these things you might think would be just so quick, and then the other things might they might look like they're really difficult, but you never know. Like you never know. I can't remember what artist said this, but they said painting is easy when you don't know what you're doing, and then when you do, it becomes hard. I can overcomplicate anything.
Right.
And then I can definitely overcomplicate a painting. But you know, that's why you got to give it some space sometimes, you know?
Exactly. I'm going to bounce to the chat real quick, catch up and up because they are fired up here.
Cool.
They are good friend and actor and director Jeff Clark Jr. here, award-winning
Oh.
actor and director Jeff Clark Jr. is here. Hey, Ninja, how great? How are you? Glad you're here. Like I said, our friend Dell is here. Let's see, and the professor, my fellow Bala, budget Bala. See, Batman the Animated Series was a game changer for sure.
Mhm.
The Gargoyles also very awesome
Yeah.
art. Yeah,
Gargoyles.
yep.
X-Men, X-Men as well.
X-Men '97.
Mhm.
The Dale Messon's Batman the Animated Series had a very distinct style that DC went on to use in seemingly everything animated for a couple of decades. So that leads to the DC animated universe, which is my very favorite of all the superhero stuff out there. I love the DCAU. It's amazing. Um, let's see. Let's see. Mika and Kira here saying yes. If you're creating, um, art is whatever medium whatever medium you're an artist. I agree with that. I certainly do. Let's see. Do you already know what you have? Do you want to create when you when you are behind a project, or is it more organic? Yeah, let's talk about that because you mentioned about drawing the comics, and you're doing pop up, you're doing commissions based on
Mhm.
known characters. Did
Mhm.
you ever? Did you? When did you like? You're here. You are. Yes, you are doing Spider-Man or Doctor Doom or Iron Man, and you're drawing it for people because that's what they want.
Mhm.
When did you feel like? When did you feel like locked in? Like I don't want to do this because then I feel like I'm down there working at Disneyland, doing that. It's
Right.
like I don't want to do that. It's great to open the door, but I want to see I want you to see who Meredith is. So
Right.
when did you start drawing your own original works? How soon did you draw that after you got tired of doing the licensing?
Right. So I think it was like mixed in. I still was doing my own stuff because that's when I felt like the best about my work, and that's where I really grow because I try new things. And there's like so many paintings that nobody's ever going to see because they never made it. But they were good like lessons, and like I saw how I liked one part, and I even like cut them off the canvas, some of them, and I'm getting ready to do a project with like the pieces that I liked from some projects that didn't work out. Um, but when I got into my own stuff, I would have to say I got really into making originals during COVID. So I was working at a bar, and then I was also working at a theater in Houston, and I got laid off. And I did not know what to do, and I got denied unemployment, and that was really scary. And so I moved back home with my parents who are elderly, and I take care of them as well. But they gave me full access to their garage, and I never had so much space. And I just had so much fun. I make my own canvases from wood and paper mache, and I got to make some really large ones that were huge successes. And most of them sold. So that was really, really cool too. That's something I made myself, like from scratch, sold like right out the gate. So I'd say during COVID, a lot of people, COVID was horrible as far as, the deaths and everything, but creativity wise for me, I was like in heaven.
It's a lot. It's strange finding out exactly how many people turn to creative art
Yeah.
to help them come through COVID. I mean,
Mhm.
you have a million Americans dead. You're going to need a lot of distraction. You're going to need a lot of art. You're going to need to draw a lot because I guess because in a sense, if you actually sit and think about that for a minute, you know,
Mhm.
like my neighbor behind me, I went over and said hi to him, and he had this, he has this shell shock look, and we're like, "What's wrong?" He says, "I've lost 12 friends. I've gone to 12 funerals in a year."
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, think about you have to stay busy. You have to you
Mhm.
can't let your mind dwell on that,
Right, and it
because
was a scary time. We didn't know when things were gonna ever come back or if they were gonna come back. So it was like you had to get your mind off of it. Either you were gonna watch The Office or you were gonna start painting
right.
or, right? Like,
No,
and watch
that's
Tiger
exactly that's
King.
yeah.
Tiger
Huh?
King was the most fun experience of COVID too, because the whole world watched this horrible documentary, and we all had something to say. That was kind of cool.
Let's see. Let's see. Let me catch up here. When I was writing, see, Dale mentions when I was writing the most, it would be either late at night or I would go in for a public high traffic place during the day by myself at a table in a corner of the food court in the mall. I personally, I haven't yet to do that. I have yet to go out there and actually like I couldn't do this show in public. I just couldn't do it.
Mm,
Be too many distractions. As soon as you're live and people find out you're live and you're talking to somebody, they want to get in on the action. Um,
mm,
let's see. So I stay home for that. But let's see. But I'm with you, Dal. I've seen a lot of artists and filmmakers as well. I've seen them. Jeff can attest to this. Sometimes they just sit there, grab a cup of coffee, get a cup of coffee, and sit work on the screenplay
mm.
and watch people watch. It's a great inspiration. Let's see the professor. Question for the guest: what is easier or more challenging to draw, male or female characters, and why?
Mm. I would say female because I because I can draw what I want to look like. That might be a weird answer, but I like you can draw the ideal. So and then men are just a little bit more difficult because the muscles I haven't quite gotten that down.
What do you feel, what do you feel about when you look at comic books? This is something, like, because all the women are highly sexualized, right?
Mhm.
I mean,
Well, I mean, when I
you look at
do
the
a
costume.
when I do a commission, I don't do it over sexualized because it's usually for a child, or and it's also not the vibe that I'm going for. I don't want to get asked to do any manga or any of that weird anime stuff. That's not what I do, and I'm not going to do that. So I kind of stay away from that. So, but I do make them attractive, like
Sure.
not maybe somewhere between Jessica Rabbit and the Pink Ranger.
Because it's so rare. It's so rare, to see. If you look at most of the male suits, male costumes in comic books, they do have practicality of them. Like most of them are, maybe except for Aquaman or Submariner, but mostly you see them with the outfits, and the
Mhm.
male outfits, the male superhero outfits, always have more on them than the girls. The girls are always running around like in the skimpiest skimpy,
Yeah,
and you're sitting there going like, and you start thinking about like how they would be so. It'd be like riding a motorcycle without in your underwear.
right, right.
What's gonna happen to you if you crash? Oh, it's gonna
Well, I
be awfully
mean,
ugly.
it was definitely invented by men.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and
Uh,
it's watched pretty heavily by men.
Now,
So
have
it's
you have you ever adopted anything? Have you ever adopted, like, okay, you go there and you see Wonder Woman, you're going like, no, let's put some armor on her. Let's put some gleaves on her. Let's like sometimes she'll have battle armor on her. Some of the artists will draw her as that
Mhm,
because they know this could be a fierce fight, and no one's gonna fight looking at running around in the bikini. Um,
mhm.
do you see those? Do you encounter that and when you draw? Do you hear your male peers? Do they still talk about drawing that way, or has their outlook sort of come back more toward the center and practicality in terms of painting?
Well, I would say that it's probably still very sexualized. Like it still is. I mean, and maybe worse than ever because of, like how easy it is to find that kind of stuff. So it's not as shocking anymore for it to be just like on the cover. So no, I still see these guys are dogs. Woof.
Uh, see. Since she's been checking out, Dennis is saying, I've been checking out Meredith the Great's artwork out. It's rad. It's super
Oh,
talented.
thanks.
I'm with you, Dennis. It is very, very cool.
Thank
Very
you.
cool. And I gotta admit, I am anxiously gonna be waiting for my Jack of Hearts.
Yeah,
Um
I'll have to come back and show you and give it to and mail it to you. I wanna see where you hang it. That's the other thing. I paint a lot for my friends too. So when I'm not selling, I like to stay busy and I like to stay creative and I like to use the art for good reasons and for positivity. And sometimes I'll just paint one of my friends a painting. And I love seeing where they hang it. It
okay.
it it
How
sometimes it makes me giggle. They'll put it next to something funny or and because like my artwork, I could do serious stuff, but I would say I'm kind of like the Pee Wee Herman of,
oh,
of
how-
art, but like in the coolest way. Like Andy Warhol, Tim Burton
oh, okay. What what
kind
do
of
you what do
thing.
you what do you what do you think of Warhol's art?
I think that he was groundbreaking when he did it, and now I think everybody's doing it, and
You
now it
think
makes it.
do you think artists of the modern age now, Meredith, do you think the artists of today's world, do you think they're less valued? Like, like, will we remember any of these painters within those, the next 30 years? When we look back at it, will we remember anybody that's creating art now? Like, we all know the masters, but
Right.
maybe, like
Well, we'll know Banksy. I think Banksy definitely made a name for himself. And then I don't know. Yeah, I think that we are kind of at a loss for anything really extraordinary. I mean, I see really cool stuff all the time, but I never can get down their name. Maybe it's like the only thing they created, or they don't have a big social media presence, so it's really hard to link it back to the real artist. Um, so I mean, yeah, I agree. We don't really have anybody that's going to be well known right
You
now.
know, it's not because they're not because they're bad. Because I
Right.
mean, I can tell you right now, out of experience, I got some badass artists I've talked to. I
Right.
have it in, I
Yeah.
have it in my playlist. 8 questions with the artist. You can go there
Mhm.
and check out. Man, I honestly, it might not be that many, but I
Mhm.
sure as hell I match up my group of artists that I've talked to. I match them up against anybody's.
Yeah.
I've been really blessed in that respect to talk to some amazing artists. Um,
Mhm.
I the one the two I get blown away from to blow. You know, I'm just sitting there going like I've never seen it before.
Mhm.
Uh, Sophie, she makes blood drawings.
Huh.
She draws with her blood.
Wow. Okay.
It's mind blowing. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, she draws. She draws using her blood. And the other one is a metal sculptor named Kevin Stone, and his art's crazy. It's,
Yeah, I'll have to check those out.
he made a life size dragon out of metal
Mhm.
Game of Thrones, a Drogon.
Mhm.
He made
Mhm.
a life size version of that a
Mhm.
metal sculptor. I'm
Wow.
blown away. It seems like to
Yeah.
me, it seems to me like instead of talking like to me, it's sort of like a boomerang question.
Mhm.
I'm like, do you think that anybody from 30 years from now will they remember what anybody's doing today?
Yeah.
My answer to that it is yes, and I think and you hit upon it yourself, Meredith. I
Mhm.
think the real edge for artists today
Mhm.
and is the social media.
Yeah. You need to do a lot of like name presence, you know? Because like I'll see like it's just in my feed and in my algorithm I have thousands of artists that I see and I bookmark them so that if I ever want to go back and look at what they're doing or send them a nice little message or something, I save it, but nobody's really branding. You got to put your name on everything. And and that's why we don't have people that we can just like say off the top of our head that's amazing right now. There is a lot of amazing artists out there. And the saddest thing, and if I think about it too long, it really bums me out. There's a lot of artists out there that will never know because they just never posted, they just never shared it with anybody. And that's their right. You know, it's a personal thing sharing your art, but it's so sad when you like walk into a museum and you see a giant canvas and there's a dot on it and I mean, it bothers me every time. And I know that's abstract, but that's cheating.
Uh, yeah, I think before I totally agree with you. Like without social media, a lot of artists just were never known, never exposed, never anything, right? Never. It's like a band. A band was like you try to get a band on the radio so they can get heard.
Right.
If you weren't getting played on the radio, no one's gonna know about you. But social
Right.
media has just changed that. It's like you don't need that. Like you said, I
Yeah.
found how did I find you? Surfing Instagram.
Social media. Yeah.
Yeah, social media, surfing. How did I find like 95% of the artists that I did? Social
Social
media.
media.
One
Right.
one was one was by word of mouth.
Right.
One was a son of somebody who I interviewed before, and she said, "My son's an artist." I said, let's talk to him."
Hmm.
Shout out to Griffin Stone. Woo. Uh, he's a great artist too, young artist, great talent, great talent. But social media really does even the playing field now. Now,
It
now
does.
instead of a gallery, used to be have to, eat crackers at Great Poupon and drink wine at a gallery.
Right.
Now you can do your own gallery show, say on a YouTube or a
Mhm.
TikTok or whatever, and you can sit there and say, "This is my art. This is what I've done." And you
Mhm.
can look at the pieces. You can ask me anything you want about it. You can
Mhm.
actually probably do. You can probably even sell through your website.
Yeah,
through
I
social
sell a
media.
lot through Instagram. And sometimes, I still do commissions, and I love doing those. I love doing anything to make people happy, especially through art. That's what I like doing, because I look at it as like I'm the vessel. Like, you have it in your head, and I'm gonna try really hard to read your mind. But I'm also really weird. So we'll see what we come up with. um See, my ring even says I'm weird. Where is it?
Oh,
Where's the camera? Weird.
I'm a,
Yeah.
I'm an artist. Uh,
Those are
uh,
cat scratches. But
okay. Well, cat scratches are art.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There we go. He got me.
Yeah, well, you could do
That
what
was
Sophie
just good
did.
morning. That was just good
Oh,
morning.
so how when you sit down by yourself,
Mhm.
what's your main discipline? What do you draw with, or paint with, or create with? What's your favorite medium to use to create your art?
Okay. So when I'm doing something for, let's say, like Instagram or content, I love doing acrylic. But when I'm like just like messing around, don't know what I'm doing, just kind of playing around with art, putting some glitter over here and some glue over here, I like doing clay. It's just so fun. It's like adult Play-Doh, and it's so messy I've ruined everything I own. But I love clay, and I just want to. I've been trying to figure out how, like, I could do like creative work, but functional, because that seems to be the niche to get into, and that would be so cool if, like, people have a use for the art, not just something. I mean, not just something to hang on the wall. No, that's great too, but something they could use, and then it's so weird they're the only one that has it.
Yeah, one of a kind.
One of a kind.
Oh, yeah. I know some artists will paint a series. They'll mark it down like one of 25, and
Mhm.
they'll mark it one to 25, and that's all they'll do.
Right.
They won't do any more, regardless, even if it sells out within the certain afternoon.
Mhm.
That's it. That's all they're going to draw. They said it's going to be
Right.
1 to 25, and who knows, because it may come to pass where it's like, man, I got a Meredith the Great piece. I found it,
Yeah. I hope
and
so.
it's just one of a kind, and people talk about it like it's so rare, and that raises the price. Um,
Well, that's kind
so,
of my plan. That's interesting that you say that. That's kind of my plan going into 2025, is that I want to do one release a month of something really one of a kind that I made, something original and probably functional. So I hope you live in Houston, otherwise shipping is going to be horrendous.
that's one thing that really caught me by surprise too. And I know this may be, when you said you were in Houston. Now
Yeah.
I know Houston's like the fourth or fifth largest city in the
Mhm.
country. But when you think of art, when you think of art, especially in Texas, you're not thinking Houston, you're thinking Austin.
Austin, right,
Right.
right.
So
I
what makes
agree.
why is Houston on the way up in terms of creating an artist art community? Is it starting to become well known, or are there more galleries opening up?
Yeah.
What's making Houston a hotspot?
Well, yeah, they're definitely growing. I'd like to see it go a little bit faster, because there's so much potential here. There's
Right.
great bones for events, like, and venues, and like, there's so much opportunity here, and that I got to be honest, I'm a little disappointed in my town, that because we need to take advantage of this. They've made some really cool things. Like, they opened this place, if you ever get a chance, check out the Post. It's an old post office in Houston that they turned into kind of like a open eating area, and they have this architectural, or I can't talk, but this staircase that is like really cool, and it's supposed to be like, it's like it crisscrosses, and then they have another one, and it's supposed to be like state of the art, or something really really fancy. And I saw that, and it's all really cool. Now, my bone to pick with it is, I don't understand why they're not doing more live music. in the open eating area, because that would be so cool. Um, so it's just like little things like that that kind of make me disappointed in the town, because the building itself is like, I don't know, like 2 acres, and there's no art on the walls in there, and it bums me out. We could put so many Houston artists on the map with it, if they wanted to, or maybe they're working on it. I don't know.
Do you communicate with peers? I mean, how many art shows a year do you find yourself going to, or street fairs do you go to? And do you go there as a peer, or you go there for inspiration, or do you just go there because it's good food? All three.
Well, I gotta be real, I haven't been to very many lately, but that used to be my thing for about 10 years. I was doing, I don't know, 5 or 6 my own, and like walking around, getting a break and getting to go talk and mingle. But really, since COVID, I never really went back at it. Um, because just like working in the restaurant industry, you saw that things kind of changed, and the opportunities weren't there as much after COVID. It's starting to pick up again, but I just don't, I think the way the economy is, unfortunately, the first thing that goes out the window is art and eating out at restaurants.
Let's
And
talk
that,
about that a little bit, about the
yeah.
loss of art during economic turn. You
Hmm.
would think it would be the opposite, Meredith.
Hmm.
You would think it would be the opposite, during that time, because if we really think about it, even if you just get a couple of notepads and some pens, you
Right.
could draw that. You could draw there. No one's sitting there saying that you have to go out there and spend $300 or $400 on a canvas and an easel and some and
Right.
paints and all. No one's saying that you have to do that. Um,
Hmm.
but there's nothing wrong with taking, like getting an easel, and throwing some
Hmm.
paper on there,
Hmm.
and throwing some paint on it.
Yeah.
As long as you have the floor covered, you're not painting over your carpet. I mean,
Hmm.
why
Well.
why do you feel like that? Why do people feel, in your opinion, or you've talked with your peers or whatnot,
Mhm.
why do they always feel like the first time there's an economic downturn, that all of a sudden art is, it's almost like they're saying art's to blame? Like, well, we can't do
Oh.
that because art's to blame. It's like when people get rid of animals, they say, well, I can't afford it anymore, so I'm going to get rid of the dog or the cat. They didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't have any reason why you don't
Right.
you know. So I don't understand. You wouldn't throw your brother or sister out. Same thing
Right.
with your art. Same thing with your art. It's like, if you had like 30 canvases in your studio,
Hmm.
and let's say you got laid off at a job, the first thing
Hmm.
you do is not going to come back there and say, "Oh, this damn art is the reason why I lost it, so I got to
No.
get rid of it." Um,
No. No.
so
I see where you're going. I see what you're saying. I would say that that was the first thing that I ran to whenever I've had any kind of difficulty. I personally, I always run to the art, and I never give away anything. Honestly, I'm borderline a hoarder, because I know the day that I'll get rid of it, the next day I'll say, "Oh man, don't I have a? Oh no, I got rid of it." But no, I think that what I was saying was, economically, I think that people aren't buying as much art right now. I think artists need to not get discouraged during this time and give it up or get rid of things that could possibly turn into a great project. But I think that, the economy is really rough. Grocery store prices are really high right now, and people just aren't buying art as much. I know personally they're not buying art as much because they're trying to keep their families fed, and you know that's expensive right now. I think that it'll turn around. I think that, the holiday season's right around the corner, and I think it's just been a rough year for everyone. So, but I don't think any artist should ever throw anything away that's good. I
no,
think they should
I just look at
lean into it.
Houston as being a potentially a sleeper town in terms of art, as far as street fairs and craft fairs and galleries and
I mean, they
galleries.
exist. They exist, but um I've never had I haven't had that many successes with it personally. My biggest success is always through Instagram or Facebook or word of mouth. So that's just And if you think about it, when you're dealing with social media, you can hit such a wide group of people. You can hit all over the world, and I've shipped everywhere. I've shipped to London, I've shipped to New York,
That's
Tennessee,
awesome. That's so cool.
California. It's cool.
That's so cool knowing that your art has gone international.
Yeah, it
What
has.
what did you feel about that? Do you remember the emotions you were feeling the first time you sold an international sale? Instead of just maybe a friend down the street, but someone
Yeah.
from a different country wanted one of your art, one of your pieces.
Mhm.
Do you remember what it was like standing in the post office or FedEx office and
Yeah.
mailing it out? What was going through your mind when you and what was the piece that you drew for the client? What did you draw?
I'll be honest, I don't remember what it was. I paint so much, and that had to have been maybe 10 years ago, and I've really kicked it up a notch since then. I'm almost to the point of Van Gogh. Van Gogh just doodle, 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 doodle all day. So I'm kind of doing that and like a crazy person. So I don't remember what it was, but I did feel so happy that the internet brought us together. And it was such an honor that somebody saw my work in a completely different country and was like, "Yeah, I gotta have this," and that's cool.
That
That's
is cool. That
that's cool.
I just can't imagine that. I can't imagine what they saw. Uh, like I just trying to imagine
It had to have been like some kind of cartoon character, because that's what I was doing back then. Might have been even been like a Batman or something. But the coolest one that I like the sale that like made my like career kind of to me was when I was 18 years old. I painted this really great Conan O'Brien on masonite board, and I hung it in all my apartments. And every time anybody came over, they always offered me money for it, and I said no, no, no. I love it too much. And I even posted it on Conan's website, and he shared it. And I was like, that is so cool. And then
wow,
it got shared a couple more times. And then one day, this guy bought it for his daughter, and it was my highest selling painting. And I was 34, I think. So all those years later, and it's my highest selling painting. And the daughter ended up working for Conan, and she
how
just
cool is
loved him
that?
so much. So it got shipped to the office, and she's taking pictures of it, like sitting next to her window, and Central Park's in the background. So
And
that,
you know damn well he recognized it.
oh yeah, I'm sure, and that makes me so happy. I mean, I would have loved to be a fly on the wall to hear what he
Uh,
said.
what inspires you, Meredith? What inspires you? What inspires you? Is it what's happening in the world? Is it walking through a park? Is it just sitting with your cat? I mean, what inspires you when you create?
For me, my inspiration comes from the opposite of the world. I don't want to think about it. I want to be positive. I want to come in here and kind of like go to Willy Wonka land and have fun with colors and draw the dark harsh
Like,
lines and do some creepy eyes and just kind of like make fun. Oh, it's almost like I'm doing like Halloween all year, but nothing salacious, nothing mean or evil. Just
right,
kind of the goofy part of it all. Like Pee Wee Herman, kind of. He's a
right,
huge
right.
inspiration. I ironically liked all the goofy stuff until I one day woke up and I unironically like props, and my house is so goofy.
Now do you have pieces that you can show us that you've created? You created because I
Yeah.
will say this as she gets some pictures. Um, Meredith works with her pictures are known for one thing. Listen, for me anyway, is how vibrantly colorful they are. You color and you are best friends.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have a lot
yeah,
of fun with color. And I feel like I'm getting better and better at it because I'm not as impatient. I've been very impatient and I won't wait for things to dry, but lately I've been waiting for it to dry and it's been a huge payoff. Yeah, and I can show you some stuff. Let me see. Here is I got to stand up and get it.
let's see. I'm going to read this real quick. Art says the school I teach at is labeled as an arts heavy elementary school, but we are in danger of losing all of our art programs. music, dance, traditional art, the budget cuts next year. Yeah, that's one thing I have to say. I'll have to talk a little trash about Texas about. Sorry about this. Sorry,
Mm,
not sorry. Yeah, we talk about how people are talking about losing arts. Art's the first thing to go, and yet
hmm
it says so much as a society when an art program can be in danger of being cut
yeah.
when when all of a sudden you look over in Texas and you see all these brand new high school, not pro, high school
Yeah.
football stadiums being built.
hmm
We talk about having cuts. You talk about having cuts in art and everything else, and then when we sit there and we watch, it really is sickening in this respect. We sit there, we watch all these politicians spend millions and millions and millions. They brag about how much money they raised. So it's like, wow, if you took like $1 million off of that, and you went down there and you gave each school $100,000, do or even $50,000, whatever a school budget would be for a year. You know how
Yeah.
many schools you could fund art with?
Yeah.
Just it
No, I'm with
frustrates.
you. Yep.
Uh, Larry wants to know. Larry wants to know. Have you heard of the Whimsy Artisan Boutique, Meredith?
Yeah, I've actually had some of my artwork in there. Yeah, I had a few years ago I had some artwork in there. They are so sweet and so many creative artists in Houston. I love that place. Very, very cool. That's
It-
cool. Are you from Houston? I don't know if I can ask
yeah.
questions.
Oh no, you have to ask
Okay.
questions.
Are you
Uh,
from Houston? That's all I was
Larry's. I'm sorry, Larry is from Texas.
Okay,
So
okay, gotcha. Very cool that he knew about that. So here's my this is my broccoli painting.
it
And
really stands out. It's almost three-dimensional, isn't it?
it is, and I found out a couple years ago that my paintings, when you wear 3D glasses, are 3D,
Oh
and
wow.
that was unintentional. And I had some of my artwork in this store in downtown Houston, and I went to go pick up one of my pieces because I had somebody else that was interested in the piece, and the lady grabbed me by the shoulders and she pulled me in and she said, "Look at this," and she put 3D glasses on me, and the painting that I had was a robot, and it looked like he was walking towards me, and I was like, I had no idea I did that. So that's really cool. And some of my paintings I do sell them with 3D glasses. So
That is very cool. That is very cool. Let's see. I was actually going to tell Larry we should ask Meredith to draw our two favorite cat drivers. We we send each other this cat reel on
mhm,
Instagram, and
mhm,
it will show this crazy ass car driving. Somebody's doing something crazy in a car, and
mhm,
it comes out with this beat. And next thing you know,
mhm.
then you see it, and there's these two cats inside. They're the ones driving the car. It never fails to make us laugh. It's hilarious. I'm like, oh, here
You'll
they
have to
come
send
again.
it to me.
Yeah, we should have you paint them.
That would be cool.
Let's see. Mika and Kira mentioned she has seen art save people. Yes, I have seen that too. I have definitely seen that too. And they also say, love that piece, love the colors. Yes, let's show us a couple more pieces real quick. Real quick, we'll get
Okay.
because because what I really, like I said before, what I really love about Meredith, her art it's like it's just so vibrant. You can feel, you can reach out and touch it and come back and have paint on your hands.
Yeah. You get paint on your hands no matter what. So here is okay. So here's another piece. I'm almost ooh, my light just fell. That's
Oops,
okay. We don't need it. Where we're going.
lights. Where we're going, we don't need lights.
We don't need lights. Yeah, you knew what I was saying. Um, Here we're almost back. There we go. Okay, so talking about my clay work. So for Halloween, I made this. Where am I going? Okay, here.
Oh
This
wow, look at
poison
that.
apple. Where I gotta get it straight. Okay, poison apple, and I was thinking I was gonna hang it on like a door or a wreath. So this is some of my new work that I'm doing for fun, and I'm gonna put. I got this bow, and I'm gonna tie that there. But that's some of my new stuff. My other stuff I have out in my garage. I don't have out here with me. So I'm just trying to show you what I've been working on.
That
Just
was
goofy
that.
things.
Now, how long did it take you to do that apple? And what
Well,
and what and what
yeah.
material did you use? I'm sorry, what material did you use?
I used wood. I used a vine from Hobby Lobby. I bought, and it had a wire to it. So I was like, that'll be great because you can put it anywhere. You can wrap it around something or hang it off the door. And yeah, it's just clay and paint, and then wood for that apple. Um, but I just thought that was so cute because I always wanted to make one of those candy apples, but I'm afraid my teeth would come out in
Oh,
one bite.
right,
So,
right. Oh, oh my gosh, that would actually be really cool if you drew that apple like that, and then
mhm,
on the
I
side
had
of it
teeth in
you
it.
had a piece of it.
That would be cool. That would be good. I got to get going on that before Halloween. That'd be a good seller.
Um, are you big for Halloween? I mean, what's your favorite holiday to draw for? Do you have a
Um,
particular favorite holiday that you particularly get, or season that particularly gets you creative?
Probably Halloween time, and it's again not because of anything like scary or evil or anything like that. It's just my artwork tends to be on the darker side with the lines. It's very dramatic. I use dark underdog characters. It just seems to be where I fit the most. It's kind of my target audience, like Beetlejuice, huge inspiration. Really anything Tim Burton. And so October is my time to shine, I always say. Because also I look kind of like I have black hair and I wear all black all the time and I'm very pale. And I'm not goth. I just think it looks the best.
Right, right.
But people
Um,
think,
what kind of music do you listen to when you're in the mood, or is it all just you?
oh
You
no,
know,
it really depends on what I'm doing. So sometimes like for instance, the character that you want me to do the piece for, uh I'll probably go on YouTube and I'll find like a video explaining everything about that character while I'm painting.
I would
Or
like
I'll
to. You know what? That's actually a really good idea. I didn't
Mhm.
even think about that. If someone actually did a Marvel deep dive into Jack of Hearts, but that would be wicked cool if they actually did.
I think they did, and if and when I look it up, I'm gonna send it to you. But I like to so one of the things that I did, especially with commissions, and I still do it now, even if it's something that I want to paint or whatever the inspiration may be, I'll go on YouTube or I'll turn on a movie that has to do with whatever my subject is. So if somebody's like, "Hey, I really want you to paint a parrot for me," well, then I'll probably turn on a National Geographic documentary about parrots, and even though I'll still have a reference photo that I'm working off of, I'll keep that going in the background so I can kind of learn about them, and it kind of teaches you too about their anatomy. They'll say little things like their
Um,
claws go this way, and you know,
No, that's actually very damn clever.
and then you learn,
That's really
you broaden your mind so much too, because people have asked me to paint their pet lizard, and I was like, I don't know anything about lizards, so we're gonna learn about lizards today.
so
Um,
you can watch it and get an idea what it looks like, and then
mhm.
come back and draw it or
Oh,
paint it.
while I'm watching it, I'll be painting and I'll watch, you know.
That's wicked cool.
Mhm. I
What's been
feel
the
like
hard?
it's made my mind expand because like there's things that I would never ever have looked up unless somebody asked me to do it. Like somebody asked me to paint something for a quinceanera, and I was like, okay, I don't know anything about quinceanera, so I got to learn a whole other culture, and that was really cool too. Like, because I don't know why I would be just googling that without a reason, but like I got to learn such a cool thing.
I think
And
it's not a girl turns 15. I think it
yeah,
makes it. Yeah.
yeah. And I decided I want one for my 40th.
Okay. Well, why not?
You're invited.
That's right. Party at Meredith.
Yes.
Um. Uh. Now, do people at your job? Do they know what you do? What your other job is? I mean, do you get a
Oh
lot of?
yeah. Oh
Is it
yeah.
hard to? Is it hard to say no when people come up there and ask you to do something for free? Do you have any problem at all saying, I will be happy to do that at cost. You
Right.
know,
It's hard for me because I really do love people, and especially somebody that that you get to know in the workplace. You might know their hardships, you might know what they're going through, and so you'll want to like lowball yourself. And I do because after all, God gave me this gift and I want to use it for the right reason, not for money. But I mean, it's irritating when somebody comes along that you haven't talked to in 6 years and they had every opportunity to talk to you and now they want something free.
yeah,
That's
that's
that's a
easy to say.
no-go for me.
Okay. Yeah. Um, so what's it like as far as the community goes, art community in your area? I think I might have asked this earlier, but probably didn't phrase it right. But
Mhm.
is there a community is there a community in Houston?
There is. So there's the art district where we have a lot of the museums. We have this the natural history museum or natural science museum, and the art museum is right there in the art district. And then right down the way, just a couple blocks down, we have this area called Montrose in Houston, and it is super artsy. Again, I could see us doing so much more, and like I really would like to be a part of like like some more growth in our town. I don't know how to do that. So if anybody that follows you has any idea of getting something rolling with art here in Houston, that would be phenomenal. But
Have you
there's so
shown
much
your people?
potential here, and people are hungry for it here in Houston. Like,
Where do you get your supplies at? I mean, is there a central place where artists such as yourself, like, yes, you could go to Michael's or Hobby Lobby, but
right.
if you want more quality paint, where do the artists go? Is there any art supply shops within Houston? I would think there would be.
Yeah, we have a Texas Art Supply, and that is super prestigious and very expensive, but they have quality stuff. So does Jerry's Art Arama, which is I think off of Yale and I-10 here in Houston, and that place is pretty impressive. Really cool palettes. Not this one, but like, where's the camera? I don't know why I can't find the camera. But they sell like cool stuff there. And then Hobby Lobby and Michaels are always a go-to, and don't count Walmart out. They have some stuff. They have canvases if you're just looking for a
Right.
easy canvas. They have gesso too. So if you're needing gesso, or even they have some of the basic paints as well. But for me, like I make a lot of my canvases, not the smaller ones because it's easier to buy that. But for the larger ones, it helps me keep the cost down, and it also makes it an original, one of a kind, and it's textured. And I do the paper mache, and I add my own twist to every piece.
I was just going to ask you that. See, Carol says, do you ever collaborate on art pieces with other artists? That's a good question.
I have not had the I had the opportunity a couple times, but it didn't pan out. It kind of fizzled. For the most part I work alone. I'm not saying that I would be totally against a project, but I am kind of territorial in that area. It is kind of my personal thing and it's my expression. So it would have to be a project that I feel like crazy inspired about to work with somebody else, or I'd be willing to work with somebody else, and they do a different medium like singing, or some kind of performance with it. But
Um,
I don't know. I would have to feel that out.
uh, if if someone asked you to draw on their store, on the back of their back of their store, would you do something like that? Would you take on a challenge like that to
Oh yeah, I
draw?
did mural work. Mural work is fun. But what I always encourage, I know it looks cool on the walls, but again, like with my restaurant background, I've seen restaurants close. And then I've seen, the artwork, get demolished or taken down. And like even though the artist probably got paid pretty fairly on it, it's still heartbreaking when an
Yeah,
amazing piece has to be painted over. So what I always do, like especially when I'm selling to a business, because you never know, like they might want to expand, they might unfortunately go out of business. but they might want to keep that art. And it's art is an investment, so I always encourage them to buy either a large piece or a triptych, which is a 3-piece painting that you can kind of put together, so that you can take it with you, or resell it or give it to somebody. And I can make pretty big size paintings. We can do a lot these days.
Is it hard? Is it hard to sacrifice your creative freedom when someone wants a commission done? Like, I want you to draw on the back of my building. I want it to be a coffee cup. It's just a coffee cup and a donut. And
Yeah.
you want to sit there and you want to go, like, well, how come we can't? What if we do this? What are we making a donut and a croissant and an espresso and a coffee? And the
Hmm.
guy's going like, well, I just want a coffee and a donut. Is it a little frustrating to be constrained by what the client wants, or is that just part of the game?
I mean, it's both. Yeah, it's frustrating for sure. But yet, if you're trying to make a living on art, sometimes you have to take those jobs. And, after all, it could be worse. You could be doing something else that you hate. At least you're doing something in art related. But I think that I tried to always make the best of it. Like I said, I try to educate myself on whatever they're asking me to do. So every commission deal has had a curveball. Unless it was no, I take that back. Every commission has always had a curveball because it's not what I would normally paint, but it's cool to learn something new, and that's kind of the attitude that I've always taken with it. And of course, I'd like to do my own, but I have probably about 400 paintings ready to go for sale right now, that are my originals, and so
How
I
how
try
are
to.
you selling them? How do you sell them? Do you sell them through
You
Instagram,
know,
or do you have it?
I've been posting them on Instagram. I haven't really found a way, like a website situation that I'm pleased with. I've tried a couple different things with that. I even tried Etsy. And at this point, I'm fine with just posting it on Instagram, because if the right eyes see it, they see it. Um, it's coming from my heart. It's not so much about a sale, although sales are nice. I like them. Um,
Yeah, I heard
but
Etsy's that's a bitch of a place to sell.
yeah,
Um,
it's oversaturated. That's the problem.
and they want you to carry like 750 to 800 pieces in your store.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't
Yeah,
I wouldn't be
yeah,
able to do that.
that's crazy. See, Mika and Kira just subscribed to your Instagram. Let me go ahead
Yay,
and drop that down there. I'm going to drop that down there so everybody
cool.
can everybody needs to go over there and subscribe to your Instagram. Um, you seem to have a very active Instagram. What kind of people do you interact with? What kind of people do you get on your page? Do you get a lot of self-style critics? Do you get a lot of people really that want to buy pieces? And how do you do that? Do you make them send to you first? If I said, "Hey, I want to buy a picture from me, send it to me, and I'll send you the money." Do you make them pay out first?
Oh, yeah, they pay me first, for sure. Yeah, no. I love my fans, and I love everybody, but, you gotta it's the same like if you were to buy on Amazon. You would press that pay button first, and then we would ship it to you. Um, but yeah, no, I just, just from posts, people come and check out my art. It's usually a lot of like comic book people, even when I'm not painting comic book stuff. Um, so it's kind of funny that that's kind of my target audience anyways, even when I'm just painting normal from my heart. So,
Man, you got a lot of skill, that's for sure.
you know,
I mean,
thank you.
what do you do when you're not painting? Like when do you go out to other festivals, see other peers what they've done, or just relax at home with a good book and a movie?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I try to relax. Unfortunately, I'm not doing art all by itself. I've done that before. I've been a full-time artist, but I am still a full-time artist, but I also have a full-time job. So, it sometimes means I work a 12-hour shift at my normal job, and then I come home and I paint for 2-3 hours on top of that. and I'm a server. I wait tables, so I spend a majority of my time just divided between these two.
Uh, how do people know you at the restaurant? Not necessarily your coworkers, but some of your customers. They know that do they know that they're being served by a very talented artist? Do they ever do some of them know that? And do they
You
ever
know,
talk?
so some of them that are regulars that we have like a rapport where I see them multiple times a week. Yeah, we'll talk about it. But on the whole, nobody. And honestly, I don't really want to be bothered at work. you know,
Right, right. It's almost like you have to go to work to get away from your work.
right? And I don't even get away from it. Then you should see in my waitress book, I have like ideas in there, and then 2 days later when I read them, they don't make any sense. So
Right.
I mean,
Do you do that too? Do you ever wake up at night and
yes,
with an idea and then do you draw it in pen or ink? How do you or and do you have like a notebook next to your door? When
yeah,
your bathroom like on a bathroom table or a
hmm
bedroom table that says,
yeah,
"Yeah, I
I
gotta."
do. Actually, I sleep with a notebook right by me, and I that would be smart if I drew it out. That would make a lot more sense the next day. No, I just write crazy things that don't make any sense. And it's kind of funnier the next day. It'll say like foot in water or tin can, buy milk. And I got to figure out what I meant by that.
Uh, All right, I'm letting everybody know to ask some questions. Ask any questions. Um, what's your goals for 2025 in terms of your art? Where do you want to see yourself? What do you want to see yourself doing next year as far as your art goes?
Um, I would like to sell one functional piece a month and do like a 12 piece series. And I would like to make some more really good content, maybe like get other people involved, like some of my art friends, and even some of my friends that aren't necessarily artistically inclined. It would be fun showing people how to do things. Like,
Right,
that would be kind of fun.
like volunteer at a school.
um Yeah, my sister is an art teacher. She's brought it up a couple times that I could be a guest because the kids would like to see, somebody do like a sketch in person.
Right.
That would definitely be an option. But I was thinking like, getting my friends to do some splatter art with me, with squirt guns or, using some really obtuse materials to make some fun art. That would be cool.
Oh my God, that would be really cool. That would be
Hmm.
I put paint in little squirt guns wow, that would be
And
pretty
it would
cool.
be fun too because, like, my friends, some of them don't do art at all, but that would be something like you wouldn't have to. You're not gonna mess it up. It's gonna be cool no matter what you do. So that would be cool to get them involved to be creative.
It's just what I've heard too about all the ways you could paint a picture. There's someone always comes with something new.
Mhm.
You
Yeah.
know, I talked to an artist recently, and they told me what they've been doing, and artistically wise, and I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I thought it was just I was just like, I've never heard anybody do anything like that before, and I think that's just absolutely creative, and
Mhm.
and and it's amazing because you think by this time that everything that could be done art wise
Mhm.
has been done, but
Yeah.
it always continuously to surprise. Like I never heard anybody paint themselves using just their blood.
Yeah,
The
that's
draw
crazy.
pictures.
Yeah, I've never heard that either.
That is just like that's. I don't expect everybody to do that.
Yeah.
I don't. But I'm thinking, that's one hell of a talent to have.
Mhm.
Um, let's
It's
see.
interesting for sure.
Yes, her artist runs in her family for sure.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. Let's see. See, practically made since let's see, probably made and since that moment. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, Do you our friend Corey is here from Corey's Movies and Music. I keep on waiting for him to change his title to Wilkie's Music, Art and Music. Movies, art, and music. I'm waiting for that. Uh, but if you guys have any questions for our guest, please feel free to drop them, and we will ask. Um, hey, hello, ex Holette Quilts. Did I say that right? Probably not. I probably murdered that name right there.
Zoom type.
I was. I'm gonna hope they won't get upset if I just say chocolate. uh, exolate. Yeah, that's chocolate. That was okay. That's what I was going to go with. I was going to say I'll just say chocolate. Welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. We're talking with Texas-based artist Meredith the Great. What do kids think? I mean, do kids get enamored by your pieces too? I mean, do they come by and and when they see the superhero pictures or the public figure pictures, do they get excited when they see that?
Oh
Um,
yeah. Yeah, it's super cute. I've had a couple little girls run up to tell me they want to be artists one day. And that is so sweet. That's so sweet. I tell them to start saving their money now.
right,
It's
right.
a bumpy road,
It it it,
but
it
that's
is it is
great. That's great.
it is a love affair though, right? Because you
Oh
have to, yeah, yeah,
yeah, I figured a couple years ago, I sat down and I thought to myself, let's figure out how much I had made. And I think at that point, I'd made like $16,000 over 17 years. And I was like, that is horrible. And I probably spent about $40,000 to $50,000 on art supplies during that time. But it's love, that's what it's about. It's about, you know, it'd be great, if I could quit my waitressing job and be, painting paintings for Elon Musk. But, if I do it because I love it. And
have you ever submitted any of your paintings to them? I mean, how does that work? I mean, do you submit like
I mean, I'll
copy?
tag people on Instagram, and I've had a couple people respond back. Like I sing sometimes, and I did a cover of a song from The Wedding Singer, and Drew Barrymore liked it, and I was like, that is so cool. Um, and then I did a painting of Napoleon Dynamite and um what's his face?
Not John Heater?
No, no. Oh, I can't remember his name. Pedro.
Oh,
He liked it, and that was pretty cool. He told me that he liked my work, and that was neat. So no, yeah, I mean, I think it's just, I don't know how to make it big, but that's not why we do it.
no, you do it for the love. Do it for the love.
Yeah,
Do it for the love.
right.
Let's see. Let's see. Chocolate quilts. Perfect. Just chocolate or XOXO. Thank you so much for that. 'Cause I always kill everybody's last names. I really hate doing that. Um, Meredith, I believe you mentioned you do commissions, right? You do commissions. So if people come up there and say, "I want you to do a
Yeah,
picture for me," you can do it. Okay.
yeah. I
Okay.
like it because I get to learn about your interests.
Right, right. And 400 paintings in the background. We definitely gotta get you out there next street fair and
Yeah,
get you. Yes. Oh yeah.
yeah.
I think you would crush at a fair.
Yeah,
I think I
like I said, my time is kind of divided between waiting tables, especially like I said because of the economy. You know, when it rains, it pours with art, and sometimes it's good to always have like a plan, just in case. And my mom, I remember a few years ago, I was really upset about having to go back to work at a restaurant. And I was like, I'm an artist and I'm frustrated. And my mom gave me really good advice. She said, you're not taking this job just because you need this job. You're taking this job because then it allows you to buy what you need and support yourself so that you can continue to be an artist. This doesn't make you less of an artist. And
right.
I took that, like it helps me feed my family. It helps me, pay my bills. but it also helps me go buy materials so that I can continue to create cool things, whether they're bought or not, but because I want to make them and because it's to inspire people and to be nice to people and be kind.
Let's see. Hobbs just walked through. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, my challenge yet serious. Try to paint in chocolate as a medium. Oh
Mm.
wow, wow. Could you paint using chocolate? I mean, or would it just come out too smeared? Too smeared?
Okay, so I saw somebody on Instagram do this, and me and my mom, or my mom and I must speak
Okay.
properly. My mom and I were planning on doing like this cake um contest between each other. And I saw this guy do like he took a bowl of ice and then he piped chocolate on top of the ice and it stayed whatever figure he did. So I'm gonna try it. And if you follow me on Instagram, you're gonna see that this next month because my mom and I are gonna
Okay.
do that. So we'll
Wow.
see.
Okay.
I'll let you know if we can paint with or write in chocolate like that.
Well, I just want to go ahead and throw your I'm going to throw your Instagram address up so Chocolate Quilts can come over there and
Yeah, please do.
sub to the channel, Chocolate, and then when Meredith gets cracking on this, you'll see she can do it. Well, this will be interesting, and let me know. I want to take a
I
look at
will.
it
I'll
too.
let you know.
See, great advice from your mother. I think yep, I agree. Our good friend Hobbs Hoare is here. Hobbs Hoare. Let's see. Uh, let's see. Let's see. Hit that thumbs up. Show the love. Give a sub. Thank you so much. Yeah. Definitely. Come by her Instagram right there. Hit the follow button up there. And then when she does it, then Meredith will let us all know, and we'll take a look at chocolate painting, chocolate art.
Yeah, we'll see.
All
We'll see
right.
what we come up with. That would be
Uh,
fun.
it will be fun. All right, we have hit the bell as far as this show goes. Meredith, man, what a great show. Will you come back?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
Absolutely. I
right.
say give me about a month and I'm going to have a painting for you. And I'm going to know everything about this character.
You'll love the character. The character is one of the most tragic ones in Marvel Universe. And in fact,
Okay.
here's even a little bit more. They used elements of his character in WandaVision and
Okay.
in WandaVision and also in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse.
Okay.
They used a storyline called House of M, and the character of Jack of Hearts played a big role in it. But they used elements of that story inside Doctor Strange in the multiverse. So there you
Really
go. Of course,
cool.
they
I'm
didn't use
making
it.
my homework.
Yeah, they didn't put him in the movies yet. He hasn't been introduced yet, but one can always hope.
Well,
Um,
maybe after they see this art piece, they're going to say,
that's right.
he needs a movie.
Yes, he does. They got Moon. They gave Moon Knight a movie. They gave him a movie, so I'm very hopeful because Moon Knight's one of my favorite
I
characters
know,
too.
Moon Knight. Yeah. I
Moon,
never knew
Moon,
about that one either.
yeah. Oh my
That was
gosh,
interesting.
I used to have the first edition of that book.
That's crazy.
I used to
Well,
have the
really
first edition.
cool.
I used to have the first edition of Star Lord, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Moon Knight, and way back in the day. I'm way old. I want to thank the chat for coming out here and like for coming out and hanging out with us tonight. This has been outstanding. Thank you guys so much for doing this. I appreciate it. Tomorrow night we'll be back here at 8 o'clock with Ron Bonk, who runs SRS Cinema. He will be here tomorrow night. We will be talking all sorts of fun movies. I mean, holy cow. SRS, if you think of fun movies, you can't help but think of SRS. And tomorrow night, we will be talking to Ron about his latest acquisition called Hosi 35. It looks absolutely ball crazy. It is going to be a kaiju movie, and it is going to star I saw at least over 30 actors that have appeared in either Gamera or Godzilla movies that's going to be in Hoshi 35. It's an all-star cast. So we'll be talking to Ron about that tomorrow night. at 8 o'clock. And of course, Thursday, we have Katrina Kusa will be here at 8 o'clock on Thursday. Meredith, stay right where you're at for just a minute. And to the chat, oh, yes. And tonight at 10 o'clock, the Boneyard is supposed to be active. I'm not sure if it is or not. If not, I know for sure. The Midnight Hour is Thursday at 10:30, hosted by our good friend Hobbs Horror. It will promise to be a spectacular night. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming, and we will see you tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with Ron Bonk. Peace.